Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today we're going to be doing quite a bit of harvesting for beautiful cut flower blooms, and we're going to be planting up some sunflowers and Tithonia. Okay, so I am getting ready to leave for my vacation. This is my last day out in the garden. And one of the things I need to do is do some harvesting. And I need a harvest because I don't want these flowers to go to seed while I'm gone. So I want to go ahead and harvest them. I'll give them to my mother-in-law and some friends and allow them to enjoy them while I'm gone. And then that will give the flowers an opportunity to start reproducing while I'm away. Then in addition, I need to go ahead and direct sow a new set of sunflowers, and I want to go ahead and direct sow some Tithonia, which are such a fun flower to grow. So let's go ahead and get started with all that harvesting. Okay, there's going to be quite a wide variety of flowers. First thing I am going to do though is I am going to come and I think I'm just going to cut, but I'm going to pull out all of these larkspur here. They are at the end and they are beginning to reseed, and I don't know if I necessarily like larkspur. I forget every year. I don't really like them so much. It's the same with bachelor's buttons. Like, I just really don't like them. Like, just kind of is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to kind of get in here and pull a bunch of them up. I'm not harvesting them to keep because most of them already have their little seed pods on them. And I'm sure they'll probably, I'll give them a little shake. Like, I'm sure they've already reseeded a little bit for next year, which would be fine. If I decide I don't want them next year, I'll just pull them up. No big deal at all. So let's go ahead and pull that up, clean that up, because this is an area where we're going to put a round of sunflowers in. Okay, next right here we've got some straw flowers, and these definitely need to be harvested frequently, and they will put off new sets of buds. So I've already got one here. Now, straw flower, you don't want to harvest them when they're super small unless you're looking for that look. Some people like for their straw flowers to be completely closed like that. I like to see a little bit of yellow inside, but once you cut them, they're not going to open and close anymore. So cut them at the state that you are happy to have them at, that you enjoy them at. Just a couple of those. Looks like I got some more coming. Super pretty. I believe that this was just a variety mix that I started. Now over here, I have quite a few ageratum that need to be harvested. So I need to come in here. And these are cut and come again, so they will keep coming. So definitely need to take the time to harvest them. Oh, I cut that one super short on accident. Super pretty purple flowers. This was a timeless variety mix, so it has like whites and lavenders and dark purples and pinks. Wide variety in there. So we'll go ahead and give these a nice prune back. And you can see that it branches from multiple places. So like this middle one, it's already going to seed and is done. And hopefully, I am hoping these ageratum will reseed themselves. But then it still has 4 more on this one branch, which is pretty cool. And when I'm harvesting these, I'm cutting above a set of 2 leaves. Not cutting all the way to the ground, because then the plant will just be done. If you cut above a set of 2 leaves, it will continue producing. Like that's one branch. And Gombrina is what I would definitely call like an awesome filler flower. The ageratum, super soft, kind of fuzzy. Multiple blooms on the top of each stem. Excellent, very romantic filler flower, great for cottage gardening as well. Looks good. Okay, let's cut back some of my zinnias, but we're not cutting them back to harvest them today. We're cutting them back to get bigger and better blooms. Okay, back here I've got a patch of zinnias going. I started these from seed inside. I believe it's blush, let's see, queen lime blush and queen lime orange. And I've got a few blooms going, right? But these are smaller blooms, right? What I want to do is I really want to go ahead and cut out some of these smaller blooms like this to encourage the plant to do more branching. And with more branching, I will get bigger and better blooms. So I'm basically finding a bloom, I'm following it down until I hit, a nice batch of leaves, a set of 2 leaves that I can cut above and allow it to refocus. So looks brutal, I know, but it's going to give me bigger and better zinnia blooms in the long run. So I've seen a lot of people growing the new floret zinnias, which I did not do this year. I just couldn't do the price on them. Maybe next year though. And they were saying how little the blooms are, but they're looking at the very first blooms. You have to really allow a zinnia plant to mature to start getting the wow factor blooms. So even though these aren't the floret zinnias, zinnias in general, if you do some cutback on those first original flowers, you are going to get bigger, more robust plants, and you're going to get bigger blooms. So those of y'all who, if you're struggling with your zinnias regarding them in size, whether they're floret or whether they're other ones, because that's definitely a thing, be sure to go ahead and just give them a cutback in some places to encourage more branching for stronger plants. Okay, let me show you a little bit about what's going on over here. This was my Oriental Lily and Lisianthus patch. With the work that was done for the French drain, they had to come in here and dig all the way across my bed. So, sucks. So super sad. Lots dead. Just trying to take a breath. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come in here, we're going to cut a lot of stuff back. We're going to leave as much of the greenery as possible so that these can continue to put energy into the bulbs below. But I might need to replant some of these come spring. It's disappointing. I'm just trying to take a breath and move on. Okay, so I want to leave at least 6 inches of green attached to the stem to the bulb on the ground. I don't want to cut my stem all the way to the ground because I need to leave that green in there so that this can spend some time still adding more sustenance to, some of these are shot already, adding more sustenance to the bulb, because that's what I just really need them to do at this point, is to just feed the bulbs and get them prepped for next year. Now, I'm only cutting lilies if they're falling over. Like a bunch of these are standing upright, and so I'll just leave those for the time being. But unfortunately, like a lot of the liatris here is falling over the edge. Okay, and then the rest of the lilies, everything I'm going to leave. Everything else, I was just really kind of focusing on what was spilling over the edge. And we were able to save some blooms. Okay, so we were able to save some of the blooms. These are liatris. Very pretty, typically much longer, obviously. But I wanted to leave a lot of green on there so that they can continue to produce on those bulbs. And I do think I need to make it a concerted effort to make sure that I'm doing liquid fertilizer over here to beef up these bulbs for next year. Okay, so in this bed, we have a couple of different things. We have my little seed dahlias, which have been just lovely. I've just enjoyed them so much. I'm going to come in here and just deadhead a few of them. I haven't been harvesting them for cut flowers. I'm just kind of enjoying them. Let me cut back a few of the heads and then I'll give you a close-up. So these are the dahlias that I started from seed. I had no idea what they'd be. They're all very like tiny blooms, but they're all producing a bunch of blooms on each individual plant, which is cool. Super pretty. Some more over here. That guy. Super cute. Some of the plants I would say are about 3 feet tall at this point. Got these over here, these little yellow ones. Very happy. They've been a joy. My experience with dahlias in the past has not been a joyful experience. These have been a joy. They're fun to grow from seed. They're just happy as can be in this little garden, and I'm just letting them do their thing. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go and harvest some of these raspberry cream gomphrena that I also grew from seed. And these aren't super tall yet, but these get massive. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a little bit of a trim, harvesting, so that they can concentrate on creating new blooms. And once again, when harvesting the gomphrena, I'm not trying to cut the whole plant off. I'm just trying to cut kind of like a central portion of the gomphrena to kind of focus on. And these are excellent for dried flower arrangements. And they are definitely more of a filler flower as well. Definitely did more of a concentration of filler flowers, growing filler flowers this year, which I think was a good decision on my part, because it's something that I've lacked in the past. And I'm really just kind of going and looking at the central stem and taking it all the way down to a set of 2 leaves. So it is making some of these plants much smaller. I'm not doing it to every single one of the plants. Definitely making the plants much smaller, but it will force them to branch more, which will be great in the long run. Now, today I'm harvesting more than I actually have been wanting to harvest. I just got so wrapped up with projects, trying to get them all done, or filming, trying to get done before I leave, that I just didn't harvest enough. I really am wanting to harvest more smaller batches at a time so that I can really enjoy things. Okay, there's the raspberry cream gomphrena. Super soft pink color. Sweet blooms. They have like a straw-like texture to them. Love them. Super fun. Excellent for drying. Great for cut flowers, and they grow abundantly. Okay, so I have some rudbeckia here. I believe this one is Sahara. I grew these all from seed last summer, planted them out in the fall, and then now enjoying their blooms. I'm not sure what this particular variety is. And then over here, okay, this one's obviously going to be gorgeous. Okay, these are Prairie Sun rudbeckia, also grown from seed. And like one plant is putting off at least 10 blooms. And then I have some over here that came back from last year. I believe these are also Sahara as well. This one's got some buddies living in it. Look at all the poop. So let's go ahead and harvest some of those. So these also put off multiple blooms. So what I'm cutting is going to end up being a shorter bloom. But I think what I'm going to do, instead of harvesting these to keep, is I'm just going to take out some of their central blooms like that. I'm going to leave that one on those two because they're older blooms. I'm just going to do that for now so it can continue putting off additional blooms and focus on the other stuff. Now, regarding this Prairie Sun, it has gotten long enough now that I can actually harvest the blooms, which is exciting, especially these side ones. And by taking off the middle one on those other ones I was just showing y'all, that's going to allow me to get more blooms like this, longer. I don't know if rudbeckia is cutting again. Y'all tell me, those of y'all who've grown it. Okay, this guy is covering a lot of stuff. I'm going to take him down all the way. Really, I'm just hoping that these plants will continue to put on blooms, but I'm not sure. I would love more of these blooms. Okay, over here in my basil bed, got a lot going, and I'm gonna go ahead and take some stems in a few places, especially if I feel like the basil is getting really tall where it won't be able to, where it will begin falling over. We don't want it to do that. And when I'm cutting, I'm not cutting all the way down to the base of the plant. I'm cutting above a set of 2 leaves because that will help reproduce more basil, which is what I would like. Got some of this Queen of Siam basil coming up here. It has a beautiful purple bloom. A little bit shorter than some other basil I've grown in the past, my cardinal basil that I've grown in the past for the same kind of habit and idea. There's some good stuff in here. It smells amazing, of course. So these bigger plume ones are the Queen Siam. And these other ones over here, I believe, are Thai, maybe? Cinnamon basil, that's what they are. That's just pretty by itself, truthfully. Okay, we're gonna harvest some more, but before I get too many blooms in here, I want to go ahead and arrange some of these. So when arranging, I like to just come through and separate out my varieties of blooms so it's easier to pick up what I want when I want. And I'm just going to arrange in my hand. Pretty simple like this. And this is just going to be very wildflower inspired. So very whimsical, soft. And for blooms such as the rudbeckia, I'm going to place those at the end, and I'll go back towards the middle to place them in areas of more prominence than these other filler blooms. All right, super soft and pretty. And then I'm just going to come through with a couple of blooms like the straw flower from the very beginning, right? We're already so far past that now. I'm going to just hand place a few of these rudbeckia blooms. If I had put them in earlier, chances are they would have gotten kind of lost or crushed. And I want them to sit up a little bit higher than the actual arrangement so that it's easier to see them and enjoy them. And you can do that with your blooms if you want to hand pick a few that are your favorite. And put those in last so that they can be the stars of the bouquet. That would work great. Super pretty. Okay, and I'm just going to give this a trim in my hand, making sure I don't have any leaves down here. I see a little bit right there. You don't want leaves in the water. Just go ahead. Super pretty, right? Would you have thought that combination of flowers would work well? Yeah, it looks good. I love yellow. I need to grow more yellow flowers. They bring me a lot of joy. This right here are my lisianthus, which got pretty out of control when I was ill. And so I am harvesting these because they will give me another round of blooms. Now, the other round of blooms will be shorter, but still beautiful. Lisianthus are long-lasting in vases, and they're long-lasting in the garden because, like, example, this one had like 5 blooms on it. So it's already bloomed out several of them, but still has a couple of more on there, which is crazy. And when I'm cutting these, I'm making sure that they have at least a couple of sets of leaves left on the plant so they can produce more blooms. I don't know if it's just because my allergies are acting up so bad. It smells like cheese. They smell like cheese. I mean, I guess some people really like that. Flowers that smell like cheese. Definitely a lot more purple than pink, but the purple do bloom later than the pink. So that makes sense. Gorgeous, right? Now I will have a video coming up when I get back from vacation, and we're going to go ahead and start all lisianthus from seed and get them prepped, get them growing during the summer, plant them out in the fall, and then we'll have blooms in the spring. I found that that works better in my zone than starting them in late winter. Okay, right here I have some scabiosa called Fata Morgana, and it's starting to bloom. It's smaller this year than it was last year. Not sure why. I find scabiosa difficult to, put this down, difficult to harvest because there's so many blooms on one stem. So it's hard to see like where the stem is that I want to harvest. And typically I like for my scabiosa blooms to be a little bit bigger. These feel too small, so they feel like more like that. They feel like they're going to be a filler. And when I am cutting these, I am cutting above a set of 2 leaves. And you can take off the smaller, less mature blooms, and you can cut out any of the older blooms to really focus on the ones that are this kind of soft, creamy color. I do find them to be a touch fussy, but I keep growing them, so. Okay, and I got a bumblebee hanging out right there, so I'm just going to let him enjoy his time and stay out of his business. These are all sunflower Steve sunflowers. They're all looking good. Got a little bit of celosia over here that could benefit from a harvest so that it will grow thicker and bushier. So we'll go ahead and harvest some of that. And this celosia reseeds itself every year. It's been many a years since I've planted any, because it just keeps coming and coming. All right, here's the Fata Morgana scabiosa, pale creamy tone. Like I said, these are smaller, but maybe with the cutback, I'll get some larger blooms. This is really just the first round. Then here's some celosia. It's more of like a feather celosia instead of like a comb or those like brain looking ones. Reseeds itself every year, loves the heat. Okay, and then my mums have not done super great this spring, but there are a few that are doing all right. I don't know if we just got too hot too fast for them. That's what I really think ended up happening. We had a much hotter spring. So those who were early bloomers, they really struggled. These that have come on a little bit longer, which I think this one I'm cutting right now is Ticonderoga, they've done better. And when I get back from vacation, all of these will be cut to the ground. Well, not to the ground, probably about 6 inches from the ground. so that they can begin reproducing for the fall, which is when they'll put on their real big show. And I am crazy excited about that. There still are some that's trying to bloom. I don't know, maybe I'll have some more when I get back from vacation. A lot of them also just got eaten up by the rain. We had so much rain and the rain settled in the petals. So pretty. Very more yellow than they typically are in the fall. Looking good though. All right, let's make one more flower arrangement. Or maybe I'll plant and then make a flower arrangement. Okay, so now it's like it's morning at the beginning of this video. Now it is 7 o'clock at night. I just had all the things with my kiddos to do and I just couldn't get back outside. So here we are. So once again, I'm going to start another arrangement and then I'm just going to start arranging in my hand. And this will be pretty random. I don't know if these colors are going to look good together or not. We'll see. This one's going to be heavy on the Lizzie. This. The shade garden in the evening and I definitely hear a frog. Maybe it's that one who jumped out at me the other day. That'd be cool. Yeah, this isn't my favorite combination, but it's still pretty. I mean, you can't go wrong with fresh flowers. I'm kind of just going in and threading in some of the mums since they're such a bold color. Still very pretty. Super pretty. Love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab my sunflowers and Tithonia and let's get started on that. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little weird right here. So it's not going great on a lot of my tomatoes. They're just not looking real good. I'm harvesting a couple right now and they're just on their way out the door. Come on, guy. There you go. Anyway, I still got some going, but truthfully, this guy I want to cut back and this guy, but then all of a sudden they're showing a little bit of growth at the end. I don't know. We're going to see. So what I'm going to do in the meantime for the next 10 days is I'm going to take some Tithonia seeds. And Tithonia is a very cool flower, grows super, super tall. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck them down at the base of this plant. You only plant these, I think they're an inch deep. Yeah, an inch deep. And I'm just going to tuck like 2 or 3 at the base of each one of these tomato plants that are set up to drip and getting regularly watered. And basically when I come back, I might have some Tithonia seedlings that have already started, which would be super cool. And then if I decide, you know, hey, The Tithonia seedlings look good. I'm just going to cut off the rest of these tomato plants. I'll just cut the tomato plants off. And then allow the Tithonia to grow up in this location. What do y'all think? Weird? Crazy? Best of both worlds? Yeah, I'm totally just tucking them in here. That's it. No big deal. See what happens. And if they end up growing, great. You know, my marigolds are really happy here, which makes me think that Tithonia would be super happy here as well. Cool. All right, we'll see what ends up happening with that, and maybe I'll get some Tithonia. We'll see. Okay, so I have a little section of the garden right here that doesn't have anything in it. It used to have the bachelor's buttons. And remember I told you, I don't like bachelor's buttons, so hopefully I remember not to plant them next year, because I don't like harvesting them. They're too small for arrangements. Just not into it, y'all. Not into it. And back here are the zinnias that we topped earlier. And so basically what I want to do at this point is I want to come in and I want to add in some sunflowers here. So I'm just taking one of the stakes, kind of just drawing a line all the way across. I'm going to do it right there. I'm going to do it right there as well. Okay. And I'm going to plant more of my favorite variety, which is a pro cut. Now, pro cuts are going to be single stem sunflowers. They're going to grow one bloom, and you cut them, and they're done. Like, that's it. And they're typically what's grown a lot for florists, but they make the most beautiful, perfect sunflowers, which I love. So the first one I've got is the Pro Cut Gold Light variety, which is legit my favorite. Totally obsessed with it and love it. So I'm placing a seed or two about every 6 inches. And these have drip lines underneath. And I'm not going to be here to water these, so these might not come to fruition quickly. I do have drip lines here, so hopefully they'll get started. If not, then when I get back, I can start consistently watering them to get these seeds to germinate. So I did one whole line of those. The next one I'm going to do is another Pro Cut, and this is Pro Cut White Light. So it's going to be white on the outside and yellow center. If it was like White Night, it would be white on the outside with a dark center. So I'm just going to come across with these. These are planted about 1 inch deep. You need to plant sunflowers in succession, or else they'll all bloom at once, which if you're like me and you're harvesting them for, cut flowers, it doesn't really work very well if they're all at the same time. All right, so got all those in good contact. Hopefully by the time I get back, we'll have some little seedlings there. Let's go do one other little area. Okay, and if you recall, this is a little area we started at the beginning of the day where we pulled up all the larkspur out of here. And this also has a drip line set up to it. So just pull up the rest of these little larkspur. Just like that. So for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and plant Pro Cut Red Lemon Bicolor. Like I said, it's another Pro Cut. Oh, there's an asp. That was almost bad. We don't want an asp. Let me move that guy. Those sting. They can hurt you. I know, buddy. Come over here. Go somewhere else. Go over there. There you go. All right. Got him out of the way. So literally just coming through and making a line with my hand, about 1 inch deep. Same thing right here. Just like that. All right, and we're going to come in with the Pro Cut Red Lemon Bicolor, and this has multiple colors on it. I feel like it has more of a fall vibe, but it's still really fun to plant. And it'll still be really fun to grow. So I'm just putting 2 or 3 seeds about every 6 inches apart, about 1 inch deep. And we can get another little batch of sunflowers going in here. Okay, I do think I am going to go ahead and water these in, just give them a nice drink. Okay, it's a good day in the garden. Took a long time to get through this video. There's a lot going on, a lot of stuff. And this is my last outdoor video, and I'm leaving for Alaska in 24 hours. So super excited, feel good. I did the best I could to prepare my garden. I did not get to everything, but like I said, I did the best I could with the time that I had and the energy that I had. Oh, I see a really pretty spider web that I need to show y'all in a minute. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, watching me harvest, watching me make some bouquets, and watching me get some Tithonia and sunflowers planted direct sow out in the garden. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much, and I just really enjoy hearing from each of y'all. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. We got a gnat swarm going on, and they all just got caught up in there, so spider's gonna be eaten tonight.